Netanyahu today at the White House sounded like someone who needs a good foreign minister. He holds enough portfolios by himself to give away. And we all saw know how to give a great speech in English. So what's holding you back from joining and serving the people of Israel?
Let's put things straight. In a democracy, the most important thing is to present an alternative. And so long as we are in the same course which will bring us to the abyss, and we will find ourselves in a generation in an Arab-Jewish state called Israel, then don't expect me to be there to hold the hands of Benjamin Netanyahu. I think that we at an important historical crossroads. Either we take a national decision of separating from the Palestinians, and this is the expectation of the US administration as well and the international community, or we are doomed in a very dangerous way. And therefore, it has nothing to do with portfolios. It has to do where is Israel going. I've made myself clear time and again in recent months, and therefore I believe that the outcome of the Obama-Netanyahu meeting is what counts. Will that bring any change? When it comes to Israel's military qualitative edge, that's extremely important. I hope that something of a robust nature will come out of it. But parallel to that, there is a requirement, a desire, an interest by the international community, by the Americans, and definitely as an Israeli interest, to move on with the Palestinians. And I hope something will come out of it.
In his meeting with President Obama, Netanyahu said no one can doubt Israel's commitment to making peace.
Oh, really?
Do you doubt Netanyahu's commitment to making peace?
Look, I'm here in the United States. I don't intend attacking the Prime Minister abroad. My positions are well known. I don't put the onus only on Israel, absolutely not. I think the Palestinians bear a huge grunt and responsibility as to where we're at. I think many of the parties concerned, including in previous rounds, have shared to share the blame. But who cares? Right now, he holds the key. He holds the wheel. He has to decide where is Israel going. And he's hijacked and blackmailed by his own party, by his coalition allies who don't want to hear about any process and mumble something about annexing Area A or some other nonsensical ideas. And as such, he has the responsibility. And look where we're at. We're at one of the worst periods in a relationship between Jew and Arab in history. We have to take a different course. And I'm not willing to give up.
So you say that the Palestinians bear a tremendous responsibility for where we're at?
Absolutely. It's no secret. I think they're stubborn. I think that the fact that they're refusing to meet with the Prime Minister is a major mistake. And I think that they have to come forward. But yet, I don't really care. I think both leaders and all leaderships should take a historical turning point. And that's all there is to it. It's so clear, it's so obvious, and I know people don't want to hear about it, especially when we're going through another wave of terror. But we have no choice. We have no choice but to separate Palestinians and Israelis.
Do you still think that Abbas is a peace partner after the Filthy Feet speech on September 16th? And he's 80 years old. Is there another Palestinian partner who can succeed him, who would really be a partner?
What I'm talking about is a totally different scheme. I'm saying that there is a convergence of interest between Israel and the major moderate Arab states around us. It is obvious. You see it with Egypt, with Jordan, with the Gulf, with Saudi, with Morocco. These are nations who fear the expansion of ISIL. These are nations who fear the hungry tiger of Iran, which is walking out of the cage. They share the same common interests with us. Under the helm of those interests, we share interests which are military and strategic, intelligence, and the need to move to peace with the Palestinians. And it's one of the, I would say, derivatives that come out of this unique situation. And as such, it can be the key engine to starting again, to reigniting a process with the Palestinians. Abbas is there, whether we like it or not. He is the one containing terror. He is the one controlling the area. I don't want to see our sons and daughters going back to the kasbahs of Shechem and Hebron and Tulkarem and Kalkilia. For heaven's sake, we have to be smart. And I'm not saying withdraw, and I'm not saying give up land. I say negotiate and make sure that our security is first.
How did your meeting today?
The crowd cheers.
If Peter Beinart was still here, he'd be cheering also.
It has nothing to do with Peter Beinart, because what you're saying, in a way, you're kind of taking my position and placing them in a very unique place in the umbrella of opinions. And I believe I present the mainstream point of view of both Jewish communities and Israelis, by the way.
Okay. Okay. How you came here directly from a meeting with John Kerry, with the Secretary of State.
Exactly. A very productive meeting with John Kerry. First, I want to say that John Kerry is a great friend of Israel. For decades, he's been standing on the side of Israel. He's been helping Israel in so many issues. He cares and loves Israel. There were some voices recently which were insulting that came out of Israel and by somebody who's a candidate for a high position in Netanyahu's administration. So I wanted to tell John Kerry that he's a great, respectable friend of Israel. Secondly, we discussed at length the situation. And John Kerry wants to continue the process which he started by calming down the tensions around Temple Mount, Har HaBayit. Wants to continue also in trying to find ways and means of starting a process with the Palestinians. And I think we should commend him on that.
Do you see him taking any concrete steps in the near future to try to advance
I don't
yet
know.
another peace process between Israel and Palestine?
I don't know. It depends on so many things. It depends on his meeting with the Prime Minister. It depends on whether there is a likelihood. Nobody thinks there's going to be a miraculous breakthrough tomorrow. But we have to create hope. We have to give hope to the people. This is bad. This is one of the worst periods in the relationship between Jew and Arab in the Holy Land. And we must change it. We must change that course. It's a dangerous course.
Did you receive any insight from him on his meeting tomorrow with Netanyahu?
No.
Will he be pressuring him to take action?
I did not receive insights. I leave it to him.
Okay.
And even if I did, I'd leave it to him.
So you told the labor convention yesterday, it's still yesterday though, if you're flying, it feels like it was a long time ago.
It was an important labor convention.
That the next election is sooner than people imagine. Had you won the election in March, how would Israel's relations with America be today?
They'd be in a totally different course. I would have been meeting with the president at the Oval Office 2 weeks after elections and rebuilding trust and confidence and talking about the most strategic things and dealing with the strategic threats. I'm happy that finally the president and the prime minister have met after a year of not meeting each other and after a lot of tension between the administrations, and I hope it's behind them. But it requires building confidence, and it requires being intimate, and it requires joining hands together and understanding the common interests and each one's interests. And there are so many things that are going on in the Middle East. You've got ISIL, and you've got Syria, you've got Iran, and you've got in the outer periphery Afghanistan and Kurdistan and many other issues, let alone the issues of Hamas and the Shia-Sunni rift and the Palestinian issue. All this requires intimate, close cooperation between Israel and the United States. This is at the cornerstone of Israel's well-being and security.
Okay. So now that we're on American politics, Netanyahu didn't get along with Democratic presidents. If you win the next election in Israel, can you get along with a Republican president if a Republican wins? Could you see yourself talking to President Trump in the White House?
Let me say, first of all, that I really, really have no intention of budging into American politics. Secondly, I don't see any problem in bipartisanship. I think Israel's relations in America should be bipartisan. Definitely close relations with the Republicans and Democrats alike, and with any president who is elected.
So you told the labor convention yesterday that you want to build a larger Zionist union.
A larger Zionist Union camp. I want a large camp that can win the next election and present a real viable alternative to the people of Israel.
So we can remember the origin of the term Zionist Union, that you announced the Machaneh Tzioni name on stage there, and then afterward I came up to you and I asked you, what is the name of the party in English? And you weren't quite sure.
No,
you said Zionist Camp.
It is the Zionist Camp, but what I'm saying is, well, you know, Gil, you take me by all sorts of questions that I don't really recall in depth. In Hebrew, it says Machaneh Tzioni, so it's a Zionist camp. Thereafter, some of the journalists call it Zionist Union. Both of them fit me, so long as we win the election.
So I remember I told you the Zionist Camp means something different for young American Jews.
Yes, I get it. I'm a graduate of Ramah and Mossad, so it's okay.
Okay, so now this larger Zionist camp, this larger Zionist union that you want to create, Netanyahu says he wants to do the same on the right. He calls what he wants to create the Israeli Republican Party.
Well, I think I can build the Israeli Democratic Party.
We have a headline, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, what I meant is that I think that the only way to change the Israeli political scene is by joining forces with many elements together where labor leads the camp. Labor is at the heart of all of this. And labor is the real true alternative.
Can you call it the Israeli Democratic Party?
No, I've said it only because we're talking in front of an American audience to an American ear. So that's, if you use that term. By the way, some people deny that report about the Republican Party. So, you know, I used it as a synonym to the Republican. I said Democratic.
Okay. Can you see Yair Lapid taking his party into the larger bloc that you would create under your leadership?
I'm not discussing details with you here. It would be ridiculous to speak about it. I want something larger. I think we have a very important political force. We are the second largest in Israeli politics. We present an alternative. We fight for our values, and we try to do best. And it's not easy at all. Definitely in the current atmosphere and climate in Israel, our voice is important more than ever.
Okay. American center-left Jews are often torn between who they want to see in an Israeli government. I remember speaking about it with a prominent rabbi from New York. He told me he wanted you to win the election, and I told him, if you win the election, then the Ultraorthodox will be part of the government, and if the Netanyahu wins the election, the settlers and the Ultraorthodox will be part of the government. He said, can't we have a government without either of them? If you'd come to power, how would you limit the increasing power of the Ultraorthodox and bring more of them into the workforce?
First of all, I think there's a distorted image here. Throughout the elections, I was very cautious on many things. I did not lock myself into a position whereby I will not say the truth to the people. And that's why I explained to the voters. Some of you tell me, don't go with Arabs. Others say, go with Arabs. Some of you tell me, don't dare go with Likud. Then some say, go with Likud. Some of you tell me, don't go with Ultra-Orthodox. Some say, go. It's ridiculous. This is what Israel is all about. Once you win the election, you build a coalition which is best for Israel, and I leave all options open. And that's why I wouldn't go frightening people whether ultra-Orthodoxy or other parties are a threat here and there. I knew how to talk to all parties concerned, and I believe that I would have kept it in the right track, whereby more and more ultra-Orthodox people are going into the workforce, taking over important roles of leadership. intertwining in all circles of life. This is the process we must do, as well as Arabs as well. We must include both of these communities in all spheres of life. It's almost a natural process. We simply need to lead it from behind rather than kind of confront them in a humiliating way, and understand the changing nature of the multifaceted society called Israel.
So it's late and we're all...
It's definitely late for somebody who landed this morning from the United States with a jet lag.
As we both did.
Good.
So I guess my last question would be someone that I'm sure everyone attending this conference cares a lot about, who is hopefully going to be released from prison in a couple of weeks, Jonathan Pollard. It's looking like the American administration is not going to let him leave the United States for 5 years. All they need to do is sign a piece of paper and allow him to make Aliyah and live the quiet life as an Israeli that he and his wife want to lead. Is there anything you're doing that you can tell us, using your influence and maybe the more positive way that you're received by the Obama administration than the Prime Minister is received, to try to allow that to happen?
First of all, I'm a member of the Knesset caucus working for the release of Jonathan Pollard. And I must say, though, and mention an historical fact about what I call on hypocrisy. Because last winter, in April 2014, last spring, there was a heated negotiation that John Kerry led on the Palestinian-Israeli issue. And there was a moment of truth where, as part of the deal, it was spoken of, okay, let's say that, without a binding or confirming that Jonathan Pollard will be released as part of the deal. But for that, there was a requirement of settlement freeze, construction of settlements freeze for 3 months. And the leaders of the caucus for the release of Jonathan Pollard, Uri Ariel and Zev Elkin, went and besieged Prime Minister Netanyahu until he gave that up. And we missed a golden opportunity of bringing Pollard back home. So let's just put something on the record so that people stop talking about hypocrisy and understand what hypocrisy is all about. Now, for the facts themselves, first let's see Jonathan Pollard coming out of jail and going into a rehabilitation process. And I'm sure that later on he will find his piece of rest, and we hopefully will see him in Israel, which he loves, soon.
What a wonderful way to end a long day of work over here.
Thank you, Gil. Gil is an outstanding political correspondent in Israel. It's never easy with him, so you have to respect that he was so well behaved.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who wishes to support JBS, the Jewish Broadcasting Service, with a tax-deductible gift of $36, double chai or more, to the nonprofit organization Jewish Education in Media. Simply visit the JBS homepage and click on the Donate button to make a donation by PayPal or your credit card. And please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD. Or you can send your tax-deductible check made out to Jem, Post Office Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York 10471. And again, please remember to indicate which program you would like to receive with our compliments. And we thank you for your kind support.